back to a brand new video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. So I finally used my cappuccino espresso maker this morning, and it was so cool. I love it. I'm gonna go buy one of those fancy little silver cup things for the actual cappuccinos, but it was really good and I'm like so happy. I think it was worth every dollar. But yeah, right now we are just getting to the kids' pediatrician's office. They have an appointment today, literally in 2 minutes, and we are late because I was making cappuccinos. But we're here now, so that's all that matters. And then yeah, so
Yay, we're here!
So now for the reason why you clicked on this video. I really wanted to talk to you guys about some breastfeeding and lactation tips. So let's get started. So I myself did struggle a little bit when I breastfed my firstborn, my son. He's 3 now. And I only was able to breastfeed him for 3 months because it was a struggle, and it was just like the most stressful, tiresome thing ever in my life. So I did only breastfeed him for 3 months, and along with that, he wasn't exclusively breastfed. I also gave him formula. So I just want to let you guys know that way you guys, I don't want you guys to take any offense in the other things I'm going to say, because I was in that position where I wanted to exclusively breastfeed him, but I just couldn't, and that's okay. So I just want to say that if you can't do it, it's okay. This video is just for women who maybe are in the same boat as me, that are having their second baby and they decided that they really want to exclusively breastfeed, and they just want to know what they can do to improve their milk production and just tips. So if you are interested in hearing these breastfeeding and lactation tips, please continue watching and give this video a thumbs up if you are a mom. So number one, the very first tip I'm going to give you guys, if you decide you want to exclusively breastfeed your baby, meaning you will not be giving your baby any formula, bottle feds, the very first thing you want to do, you want to prepare yourself mentally. I feel like a lot of people leave this out, and I know to some people it might be like, why? Like, that sounds ridiculous. Like, why do I need to prepare myself mentally? But to be honest with you guys, breastfeeding, for some, it might come very easy. You might have no problems at all. But for others, it could be a whole, like, just different level of stress. Like, so not easy. The opposite of easy. It could be hard. And you could just really struggle with it, and that's okay. But that is why I'm saying, number one, you need to prepare yourself mentally, because each baby is very different from the last, and you don't know how your babies are going to react to your boob, if they're going to latch right away, if you're going to need a lactation consult, if you're gonna need like someone to teach you how to latch. Like, there's so many different things when it comes to breastfeeding. You want to make sure you tell yourself, I probably am not going to sleep for a few weeks. My nipples are going to hurt. I'm not going to be able to do much around the house. I'm not going to be able to probably get any housework done. What happened? ¿Qué pasó? Excuse her hair. I didn't do her hair today. We woke up a little late, and so she definitely has bedhead. So you want to tell yourself before your baby's born, okay, what can I do to make my life easier because I'm going to be breastfeeding? So along with that comes, you obviously want to make sure you have a support system. This is even if you're not breastfeeding. You're always going to need a support system. Definitely, if you want to exclusively breastfeed, you're going to need a support system. Whether that's your mom, a sister, a brother, a dad, an uncle, or of course, your baby daddy, your husband, your boyfriend, whoever. Because when you are exclusively breastfeeding, your baby is going to be on you all day and probably all night. And you won't be able to do anything. I told myself that I'm going to do it no matter how hard it is. And that's exactly what I did. That is tip number 1. You need to mentally prepare yourself. Going on to number 2. When your baby's born, you are going to want to latch them on immediately. So with that, you want to make sure you have a birth plan. I can talk about more about the birth plan and stuff in another video, but you want to make sure you have a birth plan, and you want your birth plan to, you could type it, you could write it, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you write every single thing you want to do according to your birth plan, and put your name on it and your doctors or whatever. Put everything you want on there, and make sure that you give it to the nurses as soon as you get to the hospital. Once they tell you that you are in active labor, make sure that you give it to them. So going along with that, you want to, in your birth plan, for example, in my birth plan, I wrote that I wanted to do skin to skin as soon as she was born. So as soon as she came out of my body, they literally put her on top of me, and I was able to get her to latch. And so yeah, that is for number 2. Make sure that you want to latch them on as soon as they come out of your body, okay? Going on to number 3. When you are in the hospital, they always give you some pacifiers, and they're going to leave you formula in the room. Even if you tell them you're going to breastfeed, they're going to leave you formula in the room. It's just what they do. So along with my birth plan, along with saying I wanted skin to skin, the other thing that I wrote on there is that I absolutely did not want anyone to give her a pacifier without my consent, and I never gave her a pacifier, and or bottles as well. I said no pacifiers, no bottles without my consent, and I never gave her either. Even though they pushed, they said, oh well, here, you might need it, whatever. I never used the bottle. I never touched the bottle. And that's very important because they are just coming out into the world, and they are just learning how to eat on your boob. So the last thing you want to do if you want to exclusively breastfeed is confuse them by putting a different type of nipple in their mouth, because then they're going to be confused and they're going to struggle to latch even more. And yeah, it's just, you just don't want to do it, you know what I mean? And then the formula itself is going to taste different, and it's just, I know some people hate hearing that breast is best, but unfortunately it's true. It just is. Your milk is absolutely the best thing that you could give your baby. And there's just it's just facts. But that is number 3. Number 4, once you are home, you are going to be very tired. That's completely normal. You just pushed out a whole human, and your body is feeding this whole human with everything inside of you. So it's normal to feel tired. You're going to feel super tired, probably super irritable. You want to make sure that you are going to be taking your prenatal vitamins or postnatal or whatever you need to take. So just make sure you take all your vitamins, because you're going to be super tired and your body needs those vitamins. If not, you're going to feel like shit, literally. So definitely take your vitamins. So number 5, when you get home, I definitely recommend you not going to sleep the first week or 2 in your bed all nice and comfy. I recommend you sleeping in a rocking chair or sitting on the couch or something, because you are going to be sleep deprived. One of the differences between breast milk and formula is that breast milk does not keep babies full for too long, which is why they are constantly on your boob. Formula keeps them full for much longer. Along with formula comes colic or spitting up. Their poop smells more. That being said, with breast milk, you are going to be feeding all day. and probably all night, because breast milk doesn't keep them full. Although it has much more nutrients and everything, it just does not keep them full for that long. That being said, you want to make sure that you are trying to keep yourself as awake as possible when it comes to nighttime. For example, me, I went to sleep right here in the living room I have a recliner couch. So if you have like a rocking chair or something, you could use that. But I have this reclining couch, so I went to sleep. Rosita, I had actually got her a small bassinet. If you don't know what a bassinet is, it's like a mini crib, like a portable mini crib. So I had her a little bassinet, and for the first 2 weeks, I was sleeping here in the living room, and I'd put her in her bassinet, and I would sleep on the couch. The reason being is you are going to be very sleep deprived, and every time I would feed her, I would turn the TV on, or I would scroll on my phone, do anything possible to keep myself awake because I did not want to drop her. And it does happen, so I hope when I say that, people aren't like, oh my god, why would you drop your baby? Because it does happen. You could be so sleep deprived, so tired, your body at that point gives up on you, and accidents happen. So you want to make sure that while you're breastfeeding, you're not too comfortable when the baby's that small. You don't want to start co-sleeping until you are fully rested and more aware. When you know that your body, like your mind on its own, is like wakes up like, okay, the baby. Because if not, it could be very dangerous, and they will talk to you about that at the hospital as well. But I just wanted to point that out. That sleeping on the couch, watching TV, and scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, whatever, really did help me keep awake. I would also even eat a snack, even if it was like 2, 3 in the morning. Eat a snack. You're gonna be hungry all the time, like I said. So just do anything possible to keep awake while you're breastfeeding, because it is very tiring. On top of just being sleep deprived, like I said, you're feeding a whole human, so you are going to be tired. Going along to breastfeeding number 6. Once you start breastfeeding and you start to get the hang of it, you want to make sure that every time your baby eats, okay, for example, say Rosita just ate off of my right boob. So next time she eats, I'm going to feed her from the same boob for, now that she's bigger, probably just like a few minutes. But when they're newborns, they eat a long time. So I would put her back on the same boob for about 10, 15 minutes. And then I'd switch her to this boob for about 20 something minutes. So every time you eat, every time they eat whatever boob you last fed them, when it's time for them to eat again, you want to give them from the same boob and then switch boobs. So the reason why you want to feed them from the same breast that they last fed on, you want to maintain like the comparable milk production in your boob. The thing with newborns, and this is what a lot of women struggle with, is they sleep a lot. So most of the time, whenever you're boobing, if you just started feeding them from one breast, they'll probably end up falling asleep. It's not because they're full, I promise you that. It's because they are newborns. It's because they're sleepy. They're growing little human beings. But you need to make sure that you're waking them up and feeding them on the next breast. That way your milk flow is maintainable in both boobs. It is completely normal for them to start falling asleep. When they fall asleep, you want to just like tickle their cheeks a little bit. Go, they're gonna be like this. You want to just kind of go like this, poke their mouth. Obviously make sure your hands are clean. You should do this every time you breastfeed, by the way. Put your finger in their mouth to take out the boob, and then that'll usually wake them up. Or you can even go ahead and check their diaper and make sure their diaper is clean, and that usually wakes them up. If you just have a super sleepy baby, that's normal too. Just make sure that you are boobing from both breasts. I'm like getting off topic now, but the point is, whatever boob that your baby leaves off of, you want to make sure that you put them on the same boob when they start again, and then you want to switch them off. Okay, so that's the point. Now moving on to lactation. So the lactation tips and the breastfeeding tips obviously are going to be connected, somewhat similar. But lactation tip number 1, going back to making sure your baby latches on right away. If you need help, you can't figure it out, there are always nurses in the hospital that will help you talk to a lactation consultant, or even at your pediatrician. You can go ahead and ask them. Usually they will always have some type of lactation person to talk to there. But if you cannot get your baby to latch. But if you can get your baby to latch on fine and you're just trying to figure out how to produce more milk, one thing you want to make sure is do not give your baby anything other than your boob. The more you put your child on your breast, the more milk production is going to flow, because your body it's crazy how the woman's body works, but your body is telling your boobs, hey, I'm feeding a child and I need to make more milk. So naturally your body just makes more milk. But you need to throw in some work too. So you have to make sure that you do not give your baby any bottles or anything, only your boob. And babies feed on demand. So if your baby just ate 15 minutes ago and they're hungry again, then that's completely normal. Newborns go through different type of growth spurts where they eat like all day. Of course, you do not want your baby to be on your boob like non-stop for like 3 hours. Like that shouldn't be happening. But babies are going to be on your boob all day because once again their tummies are tiny. So just make sure that you are always feeding on demand. It's not only getting your baby full, but it's also helping your milk production come in. When you first start boobing, your milk is going to be clearish, sometimes even yellow. And it's going to be like that for like the first 2 weeks until I forgot what it's called when it turns white, but until your white milk starts coming in, and that milk carries more fat and it's thicker and it gets the babies fuller. So don't worry if you feel like you're not making enough milk. I promise you are making enough milk. I promise you. It's just that babies eat all day. Taking care of a newborn and feeding them is not easy at all. Like, they are hungry all the time. But yeah, so tip number 1 for lactation, make sure that you are feeding your baby on demand and that you don't give them anything other than your breast. At least for the first few weeks. If you decide, if you have to go to work, or if you decide you want to give them your breast milk in a bottle, I advise to not do that until they are 2 to 3 weeks old, because that way they're already used to your boob, and then you can kind of teach them how to use bottle a little more. So tip number 2 for lactation. No pumping. A lot of people pump like right after. I recommend to not pump until you are at least 1 month postpartum. Pumping from a pumper and taking your milk out because your baby's sucking on you is very different, and your body knows the difference, crazy or not. So you're going to produce more milk if your baby is on you more than if you're pumping. It's not gonna be the same, but especially, like the first month, because it's the most important. Your body is also learning that it's taking care of a human, so you have to give it that time to produce enough milk for your human. So that is lactation tip number 2. Lactation tip number 3. You want to make sure you drink lots of water. Drink all the water possible. Have a water bottle next to you at all times, a water jug, whatever. Just make sure you drink water all day. Every time you feed, drink a water bottle. While your baby's eating, drink a water bottle. When you wake up, drink one. When you go to sleep, drink one. You just want to drink water all day. It is so important to stay hydrated. Not only will you feel sick if you don't drink enough water, you will not make enough milk, because breast milk is like 80% or 90% water or something like that. So you have to make sure that you're drinking a lot of water. Otherwise, especially the first few months, because the first few weeks, because otherwise you're not going to make enough milk. So lactation tip number 4, you want to eat things that are high in carbs. So you do not want to go on any type of diets if you are breastfeeding, at least the first like few months while your milk is coming in. So if you want to start making more milk, you need to make sure that you are eating a lot of carbs, potatoes, rice, oatmeal, proteins, chicken, salmon, even beef. You want to make sure you're eating avocados, just food that is like high in fat. You don't want to eat anything citrusy, anything too cold, drink anything cold, no ice cream for the first like month, just because you don't know how the baby will react to it. And not only that, anything too cold could, at least this is what I've been told, if you eat or drink something way too cold, it could cut off your milk. Because your body's just barely producing it, and then you just like throw something cold in it and it just like cuts it. So I don't recommend to eat or drink anything really cold for like the first month. I literally did not drink anything cold at all, and I love drinking cold things, so it was kind of hard, but it's just something you have to do. So make sure you eat a lot of carbs, a lot of fats. Don't focus on your weight. There's no point in focusing on your weight right now, because the only thing you need to focus on is feeding your baby if this is really what you want to do. You're also going to be hungry all freaking day. So make sure you have little snacks like peanuts, just like healthy snacks, some fruit, some peanuts, whatever you guys like to snack on, as long as you can eat it while breastfeeding. Just make sure that you are staying good and healthy. Lactation tip number 5, I think we're on. Some foods that help you lactate are oatmeal for sure. My mom every morning would come and she would make me oatmeal with what is it? That one milk. I will post a picture of the milk right here. But every morning she would come and make me oatmeal with this milk. And it was so freaking bomb. But of course, if you eat oatmeal every day, you are going to gain weight, which is why I gained weight. But I also gained so much milk. So it's okay, like I don't care, because I know my baby's eating really good, and that's all that matters. It definitely helps. Another thing that helps is, I know this sounds crazy and you're gonna be like, oh my god, hot chocolate. So hot chocolate also helps with milk production. So I would always drink like a hot chocolate before going to bed, and it didn't keep my baby awake, I promise. She was completely fine. But yeah, hot chocolate also is very good with milk production. Another thing is, there's so many lactation supplements you could take. I went, and actually I'll post a picture of that as well right here somewhere. I went to Target while I was pregnant, and before I went into labor, and they had this lactation drink, and it was like chocolate flavored, and you can just mix it with water or milk. And every morning with my breakfast, I would have that drink. And it's only once a day, and it came with like a good amount of packets, I think 30. So that's something else you can do, is take some type of lactation supplements. They have all kinds of things for lactation. You can make lactation cookies, but of course I don't think you're going to have time with a newborn. You literally don't have time for anything. But definitely drink some lactation supplements. My very last lactation tip. You want to stay as peaceful, as positive, and as calm as possible. You do not want to stress out while you are trying to produce milk, because more likely than not, it's not going to help you produce milk. You're going to have an even harder time. So just keep that in mind. Having a newborn is not easy. I have a 3-year-old, so there was times where I would sit and just cry because I couldn't do anything other than breastfeed my daughter. But like at the end of the day, like I know that she's eating the best thing possible for her. So you just have to remind yourself that. Don't feel bad if there's things. Okay, my phone died. But just to conclude everything, just make sure that you are stress-free and don't be so concerned. Don't think that you're not making enough milk. The fact of the matter is that every woman can definitely make enough milk for their baby. Just think about it, like there was once a time where there was no formula, no nothing, only us and our boobs. So I promise you, you absolutely can make enough milk. It's just a matter of doing all the things we talked about in this video. Don't be stressing, just relax, be happy, because a happy mom makes happy milk, makes a happy baby. So just remember that. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little mini vlog, and I hope you guys find some of these breastfeeding and lactation tips helpful for you and your baby. Comment down below if you are also a breastfeeding mother and you have more tips that maybe I didn't mention. You could go ahead and comment them down below so that other moms that watch this can also get more tips. And don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. I need to do my eyebrows. I need to do my eyebrows. I need to do my nails. I need to do my lips. I need to do my ass. I really need to do my eyebrows.